Capo. Ask you to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. Madam Secretary, could I ask you please to do the roll call?
Sandy Smith,
Here,
Scott Dorman,
Here.
Ryan Leahy,
Ryan,
Here.
Ryan. There you go.
Jeff Robbins,
Here.
John Smith.
Here.
Okay, all members are present. I distributed earlier, conflict of interest disclosures. Includes both the policy as well as any disclosures, and all of you have signed it. Ryan, who is participating via Zoom from Missouri, will sign his on DocuSign and send an electronic signature and send it back to the secretary. I think all of those have been signed, and the secretary will file them and store them appropriately on behalf of the board. Do you have any questions about the conflict of interest disclosures that you all would like to discuss? All right, we can move on to the next item. If you all please could take a look at the agenda. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the agenda for today's meeting?
Yep.
Is there any discussion that you would like to have about the items on the agenda? May I have a motion, please, to accept the agenda as presented?
I move to approve the agenda for June 16th.
Do I have a second to that
I'll
motion?
second it.
So the motion is to approve the agenda for the June 16, 2025 meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The motion carries. I want to turn now to the members of the public who are present and ask if any of you would like to comment. Please let me know by raise of your hand that you would like to do so. Seeing no hands, I'm going to move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is the approval of the minutes from May 28th, 2025. Have you all had an opportunity to review the minutes of the board meeting from May 28th, 2025?
Yes. Yes.
May I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes from the meeting of May 28th, 2025?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they were presented to us in 2025.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
So the motion on the table is to approve the minutes as presented to us of the board meeting of May 28th, 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. All right, we will turn now to financial matters. The first item on the list is not going to happen today. Unfortunately, our auditor had a medical condition of some kind and is not able to present today. We only learned that today. And he believes he will be well enough to present on June 30th.
Okay.
If necessary, we can file an extension of time in which to file our audit. Hopefully that won't be necessary, but in any event, an extension of time to file that is not due until July 31st, so we have time. But we won't be hearing a presentation today from Steve Dazio, given his medical issues. So I'll turn now and ask Chief Capo if he would discuss with us resolution 2025-02, the proposed ordinance for supplemental budget and appropriation that has been presented in the board book as item number, please. 8B, thank you.
And this was gonna be tabled, I think, until the next board meeting as well. Yeah, do it, right?
Well, it's explained in the audit, the need for this.
So it's.
Okay, I was
contingent.
unaware of that. Nobody told me that. So you believe that this resolution needs to, the discussion of this resolution needs to occur concurrently with the audit presentation, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Chief, can you, some point, just send us a note, say like what page or like where that is on that, or that was pretty. And sure, it's pretty involved. I mean, I did go through it, but it, a lot there. Sure, I will.
Thank you. Yeah, if you could send that to the entire board, so we know what this resolution corresponds to in the audit, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, we're moving along quite quickly then. Turning next to agenda item 9A. We discussed this at the last meeting. The prior board sent a letter under district letterhead, but it's unsigned, to the effect that, and I'll highlight some of the relevant portions, that it was the position of the district that its process for selecting then acting chief capo was robust and involved extensive public input, and that the board stands by that process. Again, this is about process, not people. So I want to make sure that everyone understands that we're talking here about the process, not who they were considering at the time. All right. It also says that at no point did the board seek to exclude the public from the hiring process. It also states that the district does not agree with the court's legal conclusions. As you all may know, the district was sued in order to, under the Open Meetings Act and the Open Records Act, to produce the records of its executive session where it conducted most of this process. It also says that the district made every effort to comply with the open meetings law, and again, that it stands behind the hiring process in which it engaged. I would like to open this up for discussion because I feel that this is not an appropriate position for us as a board to take on behalf of the district. One, I don't think we should be standing by a process that was conducted in secret and that a court made very clear should have not been conducted in executive session. And I also don't think, I think it's also problematic that the board was taking a position that the entire district does not agree with the court's conclusions. The court made a valid conclusion. And that they made every effort to comply. So I'm going to open that up for discussion because I think I would like to consider the notion of rescinding this letter as a position of the board and the district.
My main concern is that it's not signed. So how do I know that it came from the board? Just because it's on letterhead. I don't know where this letter came from, or it originated. Maybe it was a board member. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. And that's the only concern I have, is that it's not signed.
I believe it was publicized on the website, wasn't it?
No, it was an email receipt sent out to I don't know how extensively it was sent out, but it was received to me from the fire department, and it said, "This is a letter from the board," in the email.
I didn't say that. First time I saw this letter was.
Well, if it was sent out even to one person as a stated policy of the board, I think it needs to be rescinded because it's not a valid policy or process.
Well, one board member can't
No.
make a statement. So was
Well,
this
it
a
was-
letter that was agreed to by the whole board and they sent it out? Or was it just one board member was upset the way things turned out, and that's what it said?
I believe it was sent by Erica from the admin stating that it was from the board. And I don't know, maybe she has some more understanding where it originated.
From my understanding, it was a cooperative effort on the part of the board. Can I say that definitively? No, that's just
But you sent it to numerous people on behalf of the board.
as instructed, yes.
Okay. So I
It
think
was
that
also
answers your
posted on the website with that meeting as requested.
right. I saw it on the
Yes.
website myself, yeah, as part of the board process from that particular meeting.
Well, I agree that this letter should not have been sent out if it was not voted on by the whole board. One or two board members cannot write a letter and then instruct a staff member to publish something that hasn't been approved by the whole board.
I'm also concerned that it's communicated to the public as being the process or the policy of this board and the position of this board, that the process was acceptable and that we stand behind it and that the court wrong. So I think, you know, as it stands to reason that if this is publicized and it comes across to the public as the position of the board, we need to rescind the letter and it's not a position of the board. At least that's my position. Do you have a?
Well, you know, what Scott brings up, that first of all, that it wasn't signed. It's like this anonymous thing, and second of all, you know, the judge said that, you know, he said what he said, you know, and that's the end of the story.
Do I have any other?
Can't put your name on it, should have put it out.
Brian, do you have any comment? You,
I definitely don't want the public to feel like that's how we feel moving forward. So I think making the statement that this is not the position of this board is pretty important.
All right, I'm going to make a motion that the letter on Estes Valley Fire Protection District letterhead dated January 3, 2025, purportedly sent out on behalf of the board of that at that time and publicized on the website as being from the board of directors of the district, that letter be rescinded insofar as it does not state the current board's position relative to the process undertaken by the board in connection with the process for electing the then chief. And that it also is not the position of this board that we disagree with the court's legal conclusion or made every effort to comply with the open meetings law at that time. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Do I have any further discussion on the topic? All in favor, say aye. All
Aye.
opposed, say nay.
No,
Sorry, all opposed, say nay. Motion carried, one opposed. All right, reports. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I do have my glasses on and I skipped ahead like last time. We now have the issue to, that board member Leahy raised last time in connection with the potential administrative conflict of interest relative to the chief of staff and holding all HR positions, PIO positions, and chief of staff position. Ryan, do you want to articulate the issue you raised in the last board meeting so we can open a discussion on the subject? Ryan?
Ryan, you're muted.
I'm muted again, sorry. Just having the HR position as also the chief of staff. The chief of staff works in such close proximity to the chief and has, you know, an alliance there just as they work together inherently. I don't think it's fair to have anybody in a position that has that conflict of interest. That could potentially be a problem. I mean, it's just, I think we need to separate those two.
So that you're focusing in on HR then, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, yeah, I think just as a whole, if we can read through that description, and I apologize, let me get it in front of me here. It has natural conflicts of interest in it, if that makes sense. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm looking something up. I was gonna see if I could read that. Does anybody else have any thought on that while I look this up?
Let me just talk to you all about, and I did have a discussion with Erica about this, who is in fact the chief of staff. And I think that there is a solution that satisfies the concerns that Ryan has raised, or at least there's one that I want to put out on the table. As well as, allowing Erica to continue to do her job, which obviously is a very important job and she does it well.
Absolutely.
So I think HR encompasses a lot of things, right? It encompasses workman's comp. It encompasses onboarding new employees. It encompasses payroll and benefits. It encompasses, open enrollment period relative to insurance, things like that. That kind of thing probably there's no conflict. I don't see a conflict there potentially unless all of you do, but there's arguably no conflict with those kinds of tasks, important ones that Erica performs. Things that might present a conflict and that can be uncomfortable in a small district like this, a small environment like this, is where you have grievances, where you need to conduct investigations. You have people complaining about one thing or another in a small environment. That's a very difficult thing to investigate as the chief of staff and not, be seen as having taken sides or, you're in the middle of a problem and it's very hard not to be in the middle of that problem. And so it makes a lot of sense to me, as Erica has suggested, that we offload those tasks or outsource those tasks. So grievances, investigations, employment law issues, changes to the law that we need to keep abreast of in those areas, personnel policy reviews, and updates and things like that would be outsourced to, an HR firm or a law firm that has association with an HR firm, however we want to decide to do that. But I just want to open that for discussion because that might be a way we can think about this issue.
I agree with that. The one point I was gonna make about the HR is, unfortunately for her, if she's HR, she's the bad guy no matter what. If somebody has a complaint, doesn't go their way, she's the bad guy. I mean, and that's not a position that we should have her be. I don't feel like, as far as the other stuff is like the administrative, like insurance, all that stuff, I don't see a problem with her doing that.
And I would agree with that. I think that, you need somebody in-house that does all the onboarding and can take care of all of
Right.
those other items that you mentioned. I also think that having, an outside agency do any investigations, if there's a complaint on something, is just a good policy to have, to be able to do that.
Agreed. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Not only just for them to conduct the investigation, but it should be on the outside people for someone to go complain to. Because maybe someone feels like they can't complain because, oh, she's just gonna run to so-and-so or, and then when it doesn't go their way, they're all new, they just, I don't know. I just feel like that shouldn't be her at all. It just puts her in a bad
There's
position.
companies out there that
Yeah.
provide that
I think
service.
that's right. So we should probably have a motion to investigate and retain an outside HR company or firm to do these things. Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion. You said it really well. I'll just make a motion for us to, do investigation to find an HR firm that can take care of any investigations and provide us, knowledge of what we should do in certain circumstances.
And to update any policies or job descriptions that are necessary to accomplish this.
Sure.
Sounds good. And I have a second.
I'll
Do you want me
second that.
do you all need me to restate that? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed,
Aye.
say nay. All right, motion carried. All right, we'll get to reports now. Chief,
Yes, I am prepared to give you the chief's report. However, before I do so, I'd like to propose that as long as we're doing bi-monthly meetings instead of monthly meetings, that we do the chief's report, possibly the last meeting of the month. Just not much goes on, in between that, and, in the past, we've done it once a month, so that's right with you, if not.
I would think that's okay. I would like maybe just getting an email once a week on Fridays or something, what's happened in the week. If there's anything, just keep us up to speed. You know, you don't have to go into great detail, but it's,
Or even if bi-weekly, or bi-monthly, if he is to give us just that kind of, here's the last 2 weeks, here's what's happened. How would you feel about that, just in your report, kind of? That saves you having to send an email.
I was writing down, give an email each Friday. What was the
Well,
alternative?
whether he either sends an email, whether you either send an email once a week, or you every 2 weeks makes it that same report to us. Or
Right.
would you prefer to see the email?
well, 2 weeks is all right, I guess, if we go 2 weeks, but we're not even sure if we're gonna continue with the 2 week
You're right, you're right.
meeting schedules, well.
So a weekly email might be a good idea, a good way to handle that. And then just do your report, your formal report at the end of each month.
Yeah, and if there's something else that comes up in the meantime,
course.
you certainly can bring it up.
Of course. Okay, sounds good, that'd be easy.
I don't think
Okay.
we need a motion for that. Okay. I'm not sure why I have a report for myself here, but I have nothing to report really. And other than I'm conducting the meeting. Ryan, do you have anything to report?
I don't have anything to report other than I got set up to pay the bills and I've been kind of watching them go through and just learning, you know, what's a normal payment, what it takes. The biggest one I've seen so far is looks like there was 24,000 to deck out the new car coming in. So excited to see that coming. But that's
guess
about
we
all I
could-
got on treasury side.
I could report on one thing. I mean, I guess it'd be interesting for all of you to know that I am meeting with the chief weekly. We have a one-on-one weekly where I sort of catch up on everything that's going on and where I'm able to ask him how I can best help him, and he's able to ask me questions he may have of me. So that I think provides a good deal of continuity, and we're developing a good working relationship in that way. I do also end up meeting with Erica every week too, because I can't pass by her off at her desk and not stop and say hi, and then we end up having conversations about something that is always very useful, because Erica is quite good at what she does, and I learn a lot from her about how things are running. So there's my report. Fire mitigation subcommittee, do you guys have anything to report?
Not at this time. Ryan and I met with Chief Landkimmer, briefly, kind of gave us a, you know, the helicopter view of, you know, what's out there, and gave us, copies of the, community wildfire, CWWP. And then,
CWP?
right, and then the summary for that, which I actually did read, and is quite well done. And, the thing that's left is, like a strategic plan, like how do we make that work for us? And, you know, the chief indicated to us that he is working on that. And, you know, we're looking forward to, you know, seeing a draft of that so we can start talking about it. Do you have any idea when you'll get that completed?
Haven't really talked to Chief Capel about it since our meeting. I don't know that there's a plan at this point for a strategic plan in addition to the community wildfire protection plan, which I looked at as the strategic plan to implement this program. So,
Well, I may have misunderstood what you said then, sorry. I think, so what I saw there's this great, you know, document that talks about, you know, what we as a community need to do to protect ourselves from wildfires. And I think there's probably some things that we as the fire district can, you know, possibly put in place. Maybe this is a conversation I and Ryan could, you know, could have, like, what could we do to get the word out there to people, you know, that, listen, this is, you know, we need to all get on the same page with this. There's some things that you could do, there's some things we can teach you, there's, you know, I mean, I had Logan out at my house to look at, you know, look at what I could do, and he generated this great report that, I mean, I really read it, I looked at what I could do, and you know, I wish we could do that with everybody here, because it would make a huge difference. Huge difference. So perhaps, you know, like in the next week or two, maybe, 3 of us can get together and talk.
I think at Chief Capo's request, it would be the 4 of us.
Right, yeah, fine, yeah, that works for me.
Be good.
Ryan, do you want to add anything now about our EAP subcommittee? We have really not been able to do much on this yet.
No, I've read through the CWPP you said in the summary, and I look forward to scheduling some time with Chief Landcamer and it sounds like Chief Capo, and we can sit down and kind of get some more of the, I like the plan, but I think I'm with Jeff. I think that there's some different details that I'm looking for that I haven't quite overseen yet, and look forward to getting that put together so we can present it to the board. Yeah.
Any questions of Ryan and Jeff relating to the fire mitigation subcommittee?
Yeah.
And I jumped ahead a little bit, Ryan, because I had mentioned EAP, which is a subcommittee you and I are working on. We have not been able to do much in the last 2 weeks on that issue, so I think what we're going to need to do is report back to the board in a few weeks on that topic. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to unfinished or old business, we still have the strategic plan and management implementation guide, which I have looked at and think it's in very good shape. I think we need a working meeting of the board to go over those materials. That's going to be a pretty intensive process. So I think we'll coordinate with Erica maybe to get one of the meetings, upcoming meetings scheduled as a working board meeting that addresses the strategic plan and the management implementation guide. Does that make sense? Is that satisfactory to you, Chief?
Yes, I look forward to that.
Yeah, that's great. You can
Workshop.
present both things to us.
Absolutely.
Present.
Great.
Okay. All right, we have here, 2 representatives from 2 law firms. Very, impressive, law firms, both of them, and, we are going to have them present, their firms, because we're obviously looking to retain legal counsel. We're pretty much sort of absent legal counsel right now. Chief Capo, has interviewed, one of the firms and had found them, Ireland. Can you say the second name?
Ireland Stapleton.
Ireland Stapleton. And Emily is here to represent them and to tell us what they do. And Ashley Schlegel with, you want to say all the names of your firm because you can never keep them in my head.
Collins, Pohl, Wynn and Ulmer.
Which Chief Capital, oh, and I met one of Ashley's partners at the recent special districts workshop in Kersey. We went all the way to Kersey at 8 o'clock in the morning. I want you all know that was we made it on time. But we were very impressed by Allison, Ashley's partner, and she highly recommended Ashley as well. And it was interesting that she referred us to Ashley because both Chief and I had looked at their bios and pointed immediately to Ashley's bio when we were sitting at the table. So we have 2 very, very qualified, very impressive law firms to have present to us today, and then I'd like to open it for discussion. We'll have them go out of the room and we'll open it for discussion as to which firm we'd like to retain. So Emily, why don't we start with you?
Do you want me here or do you want me somewhere else?
I think here is fine.
Okay.
Oh, well, you can stay there, you can come up, you can do where you can stand up, whatever you prefer.
That's okay. So I'll just hang out back here. So My name is Emily Powell. I am with the law firm Ireland Stapleton Pryor and Pasco, which is a Denver-based law firm. We have been in Denver for almost 100 years. We are getting ready to celebrate our 100th birthday next year. And we've since expanded our firm to now also having offices in Grand Junction and Fort Collins, which is where I grew up. So, first I'll kind of get the big picture and then we'll start narrowing it down a little bit. The big picture is that Ireland Stapleton is what we call a full service commercial law. Okay, so our joke internally within the firm is that we can do anything you need, except we can't get you divorced and we can't get you out of jail. Okay, but otherwise we have partners and associates within our firm that cover everything from employment, corporate tax, litigation, regulatory, and my specialty, which is special districts. So within this broader, about 50-person law firm, we have a 6-attorney special districts practice group. One of the 6 attorneys only does water and sanitation and parks and rec. So it's not an attorney that this group would likely get to interact with very much. We could probably interact with all the other 5 of us. And that's because the way that we structure our practice, our special districts practice, is as a team effort. So every client who we serve is assigned one primary attorney. That's so that you know who your main contact is, who will attend board meetings if you need us up here for a meeting, who the chief or chief staff or the board can call if you have a question, who's monitoring the big picture of what's happening in your district, who gets to know your community and your staff, and is the sort of the glue, right, that's holding everything together. Should our firm be selected, I would be the primary attorney for Estes Valley. However, we do take that team approach because what it provides our districts is the best that all of our special district attorneys have to offer. I am really, really good at contracts. I love contracts. I love the words. I love the structure of them. I love the negotiation of them. And that is a skill that I've become very facile with. So I do a lot of our practice groups contracting work. I'm not a real property attorney though, but I have access to special district real property attorneys who are really, really good at what they do. So if you wanted to purchase land, for example, or negotiate an easement or license or lease, I would bring Elizabeth Woodward in to assist you with that project. Michelle Ferguson is our firm's employment law chair. She's also a special districts generalist. She handles nearly all of our special district employment matters because she knows everything off the top of her head. Dino Ross, who is my mentor and teacher. He's been in the practice for almost 35 years. He handles a lot of our construction and financing. Kelly Duke does a lot of our quora, open meetings, litigation, and deposition and subpoena work. So although you have one primary attorney, you'll get to know and have access to every member of our team. That's good for our clients because not only do you get the best of what we all can offer you, but there's a lot of redundancy in the system, right? So if I am out for an evening, got a meeting, I'm taking a long weekend with my family or whatever, you know every other member of the practice group and you know you as well. So that's kind of the approach that we take. Talking about myself personally, I've been in the practice now for 16 years. This is the only thing that I do. Okay? I represent fire protection districts. That's my full practice. I actually have 3 park and rec, so it's a little bit of a lie. But 3 park and rec and everybody else are fire protection districts, ambulance districts, 911 authorities, training authorities, and others in the emergency services space. That's Dino's practice as well. We've really taken an interest in and become passionate about serving Colorado's fire protection districts. So we do everything that our fire protection districts could need. And we handle financial matters. I'm gonna hit these with broad brush, and if you have questions, I can sort of drill down, but financial matters, litigation, open meetings, open records, policy and procedure development, handbooks, resolutions, contracts of every stripe. We'll handle in intergovernmental agreements, construction, independent contractor, vendor agreements, employment and volunteerism law, employee benefits. We do elections work, both property tax, sales tax, board of directors, and other types of special elections, boundary realignments and mergers if you're ever in the market to merge with somebody. Code enforcement, fire code enforcement, and then real property law, construction, financing, and then as well as, of course, board issues and statutory compliance. So we style ourselves as what we call outside, inside counsel. We're not here in your station every day, but if we were, we'd be handling the same matters as we do as city council. What else can I answer for?
Do you have any questions, Emily? You tell us what your rates are.
Our rates, yes, so all of our special district practice group partners charge the same rate, which is currently $3.75 per hour. If we have to get into highly specialized areas of law, for example, I had a client many years ago, whose payroll provider did not submit W-2s to the IRS. This was a big problem, brought in our federal tax attorney to assist. They charge at a slightly higher rate, but we will always get your permission before we bring in an attorney that charges at a higher rate than I do. We also have 2 dedicated paralegals. They charge at $235 an hour, and associates are in between depending on how efficient they are in their types of. There are 2 services that we provide at a steeply discounted rate. They're optional services. You don't have to participate in them, and you can opt in and out anytime you want. One of them, which is our most popular service, is what we call legal advisements. We do keep an eye on emerging trends in the law, new laws that have been passed or things that we see changing. We also look at, because we do represent so many fire protection districts, well over 50 and close to 60 now. We tend to see a lot of the same issues come up. Right now, for example, the issue that we're seeing come up over and over is that fire trucks take a really long time to build and be delivered. We're talking 4 to 5 years from the day you place the order to the day the truck is in service. And that's causing a big problem with Tabor and multiple fiscal year financial obligations. So when we see these things start popping up over and over, we think this is something we really should tell everybody about. So we draft what we call a legal advisement. Sometimes it's a paragraph in an email. The one I'm working on right now is a 6-page memo. And that will go out to all the clients who are participating in that service at a prorated rate. About half of our fire district clients participate in that service. The other one that we provided a steep discount is a little bit less popular, but we've got still over 20 clients that participate in that as legislative tracking. I am personally very involved in the legislative efforts in the Capitol. I sit on the legislative policy committees of both the Special District Association and the Colorado State Fire Chiefs, helping to craft, review, testify on behalf of legislation. And for our firm, I track it. So every single week I get in, I see what bills have been introduced, what do they say, what do clients care about, and we prepare a tracker, which we provide to our clients once a month. Then at the end of the legislative session, we pull out the top 6 to 8 bills, which is sometimes hard to choose. In terms of what do you need to know to make a change? You need to do training, you need to set up this policy, you need to give a notice to the state, etc. We put together a longer letter. So as I said, you can participate in either or both service or neither. You can decide you want to try it and they're not working out. You can decide you don't need it and change your mind later. All of our services are on demand, so you let us know what works the best for you and we do our participation.
Any other questions for Emily?
I think so. But Emily, when you get this information on legislative changes and things, would you come to our organization and give an explanation of what those changes are? And would that be included in your fees or anything to do that?
Yes. So I guess it would depend on what you want. If you're looking for us to say attend a board meeting and kind of go through the legislative tracker, we can certainly do that depending on the nights of your meetings. It's maybe more feasible for us to meet by Zoom. When are you ready? I know it's not.
Right now, they're every Monday, every other second and fourth Monday of the month at 4:30 p.m.
Except for
so-
June.
Except for June, where it's this today and then the 30th.
So, just for my schedule personally, I wouldn't be able to do 4th Mondays. I have another board that meets at the same time, but I could say Zoom in on your second Mondays and give you a brief legislative update or attorneys or whatever you might be looking for that. I also do provide any manner of trainings. I have just a general board member onboarding training that I do, which is between 2 and 3 hours, depending on how granular you want to get. I've done meetings on records retention, I've done meetings on core, I've done meetings on open meetings, trainings, things and meetings. I love to do public speaking. I'm one of those weirdos that actually likes to stand in front of people and talk a lot. So to the extent you're looking for somebody to come up and do training, happy to do that. I don't do harassment and discrimination training myself because that is not my area of specialty, and Michelle would do a much better job for you all. But if you want harassment and discrimination or managerial training, discipline and termination procedures, Michelle can also provide all of that training in-house.
Maybe I missed it, but how long have you been with the firm?
My entire practice, I actually, I went to law school on accident, believe it or not. I thought I was going to be a therapist. I realized very quickly that that wasn't gonna work for me, and I thought of a joke that Tom Hanks had made where he said that he would never wanna be a lawyer, because being a lawyer was doing homework for a living. And I thought, well, I'm actually really good at homework, so I think I'll try that out. So I went to law school, I actually interned at the firm I am now, Ireland Stapleton, in 2008. And that's where I was introduced to the special district practice. I immediately fell in love with it. I went out to lunch at the end of that summer with my now partner, Dina Ross, and said, you know, if I'm hired back, this is what I'm gonna do. And so I graduated law school in 2009, returned to Ireland Stapleton, and I've been doing this ever since.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Ashley?
Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley Hernandez Schlegel, and Sandy, I don't know if you gave these
I
to
sent them to the board members. Did you all receive them?
this packet. If you want them, more info on all of us.
I emailed it to everybody. The Chief Capo emailed Emily's materials, and I think I emailed everybody yours, so I think everybody has everything.
Excellent. Well, I have extra copies if anybody wants. So our firm, Collins, Poole, Wynn and Ulmer, I'm actually newer to the firm. I am a recovering litigator. I litigated for about 15 years, and I did almost exclusively public entity litigation where I represented special districts, municipalities across Colorado. I decided recently that I have 2 young kids and litigation is very stressful and very time consuming. And I really wanted to make a difference somewhere else. And so I've always enjoyed working with special districts. I've worked with Allison and her firm my entire career. And just thought that this would be the perfect transition for me to stay working with governmental entities, helping the public, but getting into a little bit of a different aspect of it. So, you know, I'm here selling myself, but I'm also here selling Allison. She's currently in Singapore, and so she couldn't be here. But you know, I specialize primarily in employment litigation. I've also done a number of cases related to easements and other land use type issues, but primarily employment, discrimination, harassment, union matters, stuff like that. I have also litigated CORA, OML, and those types of issues in the past on behalf of special districts and municipalities across Colorado. So I have, I think, a very unique perspective of my clients' issues now. I look at it as not only, you know, trying to help you with your everyday needs, but also having an eye out for what can get you into trouble. And I have a very, I think, good instinct on that. So I really try to prevent my clients from stepping into hot water when they don't need to. Like Sandy said, she met Allison and an associate at our firm named Azuri at the SDA workshop. I also spoke at 3 of those workshops last week. So our firm works very closely with the SDA. One of our senior partners, Jim Collins, actually helped found the SDA in the late 70s, I believe. And so we work very closely with them. I can't wait to get into the legislative piece of it. That's something that was really missing from my litigation practice. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in political science. And so I always thought I would kind of get into that realm, and then that just didn't happen. So I'm gonna be actively participating in the legislative efforts as well. Allison just attended legislative sessions in DC with the CEO for the SDA I think in April. So our firm does a lot of that as well. We only do special district and municipality work. That's it. We have 9 attorneys that are dedicated to those areas, and we do everything for our clients in those areas. So while you know, I may not be as experienced in certain aspects, Allison certainly is, although I've litigated contracts and everything, you know, a ton. So there's that piece to it. But we also have individuals that are their main area of focus is real estate type stuff or land use. And so we have those resources as well. One of our other senior partners, Bob Cole, was a firefighter for 9 years. And so he has a very unique perspective, I think, on both the operational side of the fire district, as well as being a special district attorney for the last 35 years. So I just think that's gives us kind of a critical piece of insight, you know, to fire district's everyday problems that others may not have. We have 4 dedicated paralegals that work with us and all of our clients. And so we have a number of resources to jump into, you know, any issues that might arise. We rely on our paralegals heavily for certain compliance related matters that keeps the costs down, and we work closely with them, and they'll work closely with you as well. We have 5 associates, and they are incredibly talented, very personable people. And so, I mean, I'm proud to say that as being a new partner of the firm. Trying to think if there are other things I'm missing. Questions?
Can you tell us a little bit about how involved you are in legislative matters? Emily was talking about providing legislative updates, that kind of thing. And I think I heard members of your firm or somebody doing legislative presentations even at the SDA workshop I was at.
Yep.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Allison works really closely with the SDA with all their legislation, legislative work. Catherine Wynn, another partner in our firm, is also heavily involved, and she's testified before. So Allison could give you more specifics on that. Obviously, I do want to get more involved in it, but I'm not the best person to provide more detail on that at this time.
Do you also do board training?
Yes, like the SDA workshop, we do that every year, actually every June, I believe, but then similar.
That's one of the things Allison presented.
Yeah, we can provide any of that training. And I've also done numerous trainings and know the HR folks in Colorado that do those kinds of trainings for fire districts and other governmental entities. So you know, if those are trainings you guys need, I have multiple resources that I can reach out to assist with that.
How many fire protection districts do you represent?
32,
All in Colorado.
yes.
Any other questions?
Is it Mr. Ray?
Oh, rates, yeah.
Great. So partners, Allison and I are both $4.40 an hour. Our associates, and if it's in the back of your packet, if you have it, our associates, I believe, are between $2.40 and $2.60 an hour. And paralegals are $2.20 to $2.65, depending on their level of experience. And you know, and thinking about this, we're not necessarily the least expensive option, but we really believe that our rates reflect the value that we give our clients. And we only provide the services you need. We're not going to come out and do something you don't want, you don't need, but we will be there when you need us, with what you've asked from us, and we will give you the value that you're paying.
Where are you located at?
We're in Lakewood.
Lakewood. So you don't have any other offices, just the office in Lakewood?
Just our office in Lakewood, and that's where we'll plan to stay. It gives us kind of good access to all of our, you know, all of our clients in the mountains, everyone else. It's a little bit of a drive for me. I live in Castle Pines, so it's and not the best in the world, but you know, lots of good podcasts and stuff nowadays.
Other questions? Debbie, do you have any other questions? Ryan, any questions? Unmute yourself. Ryan?
Nope, no questions.
So- All right, so I'm gonna excuse them and we can have a discussion. Would you? Oh, wait,
Would we have like one person that we follow?
Sure. Yes, excellent question. I should have mentioned that. I would be the primary contact, but Allison and I are. Right, in terms of our offices, we're right next door, so, we're communicating constantly, but I would be the primary contact.
another question?
Sorry.
So you're okay. All right, can I ask you to, could someone escort them to the break room?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Maybe,
We can talking about it when she comes back, so we know that right now.
Sandy, can I just say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I just want to just state a correction. We do have legal counsel. It's the same legal counsel we had. We're just seeking to change. It's still Cockrell,
Gotcha.
Ella, Lesney, Ware, and Rowan.
Okay,
So,
okay. Got it. This is the council that represented the district in connection with the open meetings law issues. Okay,
that's correct.
Gotcha.
Yes. I came out first, but seek some other counsel.
gotcha.
How long have they been in council?
Chief actually started Lion Gaddis, another, and then when, so 8 years.
Okay.
I'm just doing quick math, man.
she was the one I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
We retired her just, I think the year before I left, I think.
So that's.
8 going on 9.
Yeah, because
Well,
Big Lions was retiring.
I was going to wait till she came back, because that would tell me that they're in the break room. I'm assuming they're in the break room. by the- Yeah, just shut the door. I mean, it's not highly top secret or anything. It's just, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. you know.
Sure.
Okay, could I open up for discussion, your thoughts about the firms?
Well, I was actually gonna say, if I heard right, you kind of interviewed, one of this group.
I did, yes.
And Chief, you interviewed the other one, so I'd kind of like to hear what both of you, like what you think the, person.
Do you want to start?
So, Emily wasn't the only firm or attorney I interviewed about 3 others. Was really impressed with their firm because of the 50 fire special districts. There's a Senate Bill 24 last year, 194, that Polis signed last year, stating that fire districts can go out for a fire tax. That's something that is attractive, I think, to our agency and to me, be something that be looking to promote the board, maybe for next year election. Well, Emily and her firm is the one that helped write that bill. So it's not the only reason, but they're in legislation. They just impressed me on the wide variety of the services they offer for the isolated special district fire district. So she stood out above all the others that I did. Now, I did not interview this firm at all because we just were introduced to them last week, which they were really impressive.
So yeah, I spoke with Allison at length at the SDA workshop that we attended. I was extremely impressed with her presentation. She did a presentation that covered the gamut from tax issues, compliance issues, open meetings law issues. I mean, it covered a huge array of things. And the woman didn't use a single note. I mean, she is impressive. She can call to mind anything, you name it. And she would have been here tonight, but for the fact that she is out of the country. But we spoke at length about it, and then she also referred me, because I asked her if she'd be willing to come and talk to our board, knowing that we were talking to lawyers at this point. So I went to Chief, who was sitting next to me at the workshop, and said, yeah, she's super impressive. We ought to include her. And he's like, yeah, we really should. So, but she's out of town. So we both identified Ashley from their bios as being the person that, gosh, she seems like she'd be a good person. from the bios, and it turns out that Allison said this is the person that I would partner with. And so I called Ashley that day, on the way home from the workshop, to interview her. She also is super impressive. They have a deep legislative, team. Their presentation on legislation at this workshop was very impressive, complete with, I mean, where everybody stands and, you know, has the governor signed it? Has he not signed it? What are the backdoor or the back room conversations that are going on about it? That kind of thing. So I was pretty impressed with that. Impressed with their employment. So I'm a litigator too, so litigation is litigation, and hopefully we're never in it again. But litigators do have a tendency to have a lot of experience in telling you what not to do to get, so you don't get in trouble. I was impressed about that with Ashley, and given the things that we have to do going forward, we need to undertake a top to bottom policy review, because our policies just haven't been, you know, as a whole looked at and really revised in a long time. I mean, laws have changed, issues are there, and this is a group that could really help us, I think, really updating our policy manual and making sure that we have all the appropriate policies in place. So I like the focus that they have on employment related issues. And I think that they could do a good job with that. I focused in on that kind of thing in the legislative issues, because I knew that the legislation issue was really important to Chief Capital. So I was really impressed with both of them, both Ashley and Allison. Yeah.
Ashley was the one at the meeting, right?
Correct. Ashley was, it was Allison at the meeting, and
Yeah.
Ashley is her partner, correct? Yeah.
So Allison, at the meeting, one thing I noticed was any question that couldn't be answered in there,
They went there.
they went to her
Yes.
and she didn't pull out a book. I mean, no
Nothing.
notes. She just, yep, this is it.
I must have asked her 10 questions, and it was like boom, boom, boom. And I know she was right, because I've done a lot of research on it, especially on like Cora and Coma. And so
Yeah.
they're impressive. This is an impressive thing.
Yeah, no, she was very impressive that day. I felt like.
Ryan, do you have any comments or questions?
Nope, I read through the material. I think they both look qualified. I do know that having somebody that's litigated is pretty handy to have that experience.
Yeah, I personally like the fact that they have so much employment. The two things that are concerning to me are the employment related issues, especially given the need for a policy review, and the legislative depth that they have. So I guess I lean toward them. I don't know how the rest of you feel,
Well, I was very impressed with Emily. I think she's got a lot of experience. There were 50 to 60 special districts the firm takes care of in Colorado, is double what the other firm does. And or almost anyway, and she just seemed like she was a lot more knowledgeable, I think, about working with fire districts, where Ashley was a great, sounds like a great litigator, but there's a lot of things.
well, no, they represent a lot of fire districts, and they're big
32,
partner,
she said.
yeah,
32,
32 fire districts.
32 fire districts,
And she
Could be 50
represents
to
a lot of
60.
special districts.
50 to 60 fire districts, she said.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so that's one of the things. I thought Emily did a really good job.
She did.
Ashley did a good job as well. Emily is cheaper. We have to be, you know, we got public funds we're spending. I mean.
Well, her
look at that,
paralegals are more
$3.75 an
expensive.
hour.
But before we call it cheaper, there's a difference between cheaper and inexpensive. And lawyers aren't always cheaper by the hour.
But yes, less expensive, $3.75 an hour for their, as opposed to
For their partner,
$4.40.
yeah, and what I heard Ashley say though was that the paralegals do a lot of work too, and day-to-day stuff, and it sounded like their paralegals were less expensive than Emily's, so I think it balances out
Yeah.
myself, but. What do you? I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Did you have anything more to say?
No,
Are you sure?
sure.
I turned away and I'm very sorry. If you take a breath around me, I'm liable to go right to the next person. All right, Jeff, I'm sorry, I'm gonna recognize you.
So, I agree that they were both very qualified. I, I do, and I have to put a lot of weight in what you said, because it's like, that's like your wheelhouse, so, that's all I have to say with that.
I was very impressed with Allison and Ashley. I mean, it is, they know what they're doing. And I think that, the bulk of the work, especially in policy reviews, can be done by paralegals. That's a heavy lift. And that's gonna be expensive if we've got more, I think where we're gonna get the value for our dollar with them is with less expensive and experienced paralegals. So I guess I still lean toward, I really appreciate your comments. I really do. I still lean toward Ashley and Allison, but again, I'm the one that interviewed them, so.
I'm sure, and I didn't meet the other person that you were talking to.
Yeah,
But
Hippie did. He might want to comment.
She was good. I lean towards her as well, just because I know they're more expensive, but in my experience with lawyers, the paralegals do a lot of the
Careful
work,
what you say.
and the lawyers check their work. So I feel like that's where we're gonna look, and these were a little less expensive, not that. I mean, I know we're spending taxpayer dollars and stuff like that, but also you kind of get what you pay for sometimes too.
well, I think they're a good firm.
And I like the other girl too. I was there and met these ones, and I saw them more in action. And that's what I can do.
Do we have any other
This
comments?
is the first time I've met either one of them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I think that, I just go by the experience. It just seems to me that Emily's firm has a lot more experience for fire protection districts than Allison's.
Yeah, have you read the materials? But I just don't think that's true. I think the materials show that they've.
Going by what they just said.
Yeah,
Right.
if you read the packet that they sent, it's pretty deep,
Yeah.
their experience with fire districts.
We put a lot on paper.
Can we ask them if anybody else has anything to say about it?
Well, I could open it for public comment.
Yeah.
And does anybody from the public have a view? Don't be shy.
I don't know, I think the lady that was sitting here, I didn't pay attention to the names, it was Emily and
And Ashley,
Ashley. I like Ashley's side of it just because they basically started SDA.
Yeah.
They got 30-something plus years in it. Emily, I liked her, but I think they were like maybe too far in depth, too much, maybe going to one office. Or seemed like they more specialized in this.
thank you for that comment. Anybody else have a comment?
Well,
Staff, anybody? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I haven't met either, and I don't know all the issues. I think the presentation, I was really struck by the first presenter, the depth of her articulation of the facts, the way that she presented her knowledge. Her presentation was very good and gave me confidence. I didn't have a lot of confidence in the words that the second person was saying, and her ability to represent or to dig into issues. But just not knowing either, that seems like a very safe direction to go.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Anybody?
I would second.
Okay. Anybody else?
I will say I met with Emily along with Chief Capo, and I also was very impressed with her as she went through her updates with her input into the legislative issues and writing some of those bills that went through. There were things that I mentioned that our current law firm paralegal helps with, and she just looked at me and she's like, why haven't you asked for an exemption? It's like, never knew we could have an exemption.
Yeah.
And she was very quick with those things off the top of her head. I thought
Sounds a
it was
little like Allison.
very personable, and she sounded like she really knew her stuff.
Thank you, Erica. Other comments? I want to make sure everybody has a chance to talk if they want to.
I'd like to hear what Paul has. Paul's the only one that's.
Well, he was there at the
been
SDA
with
too.
Both of them. I'd like to hear what you have to say about both of them.
Well, honestly, I'm not, I'm impressed by both. Obviously, Emily rose to the top, her and her firm of the others I spoke to. But I was at the same conference, a workshop that you guys were, and though I didn't hear Ashley, of course, Allison, ran the whole thing and she was impressive. She said she was gonna be our point. I'm hoping she,
Actually,
references-
yeah, she is for now, but Allison, when she comes back, is gonna be our point. I mean, because Allison is the one I spoke with, and Allison told me that, I'll be dealing with her, and to the extent we have policy review, and I think that she's focused on the policy review, and we could bring her in and ask her this. Because I was focused on the policy review, so she will be guiding the paralegals on the policy review, which is, I think, why because she's more employment focused, and she would be our focus on.
I'd like to clarify that because, I mean, she did stand here and say that she was. gonna be
Yeah,
our
you
point.
want me to go ask her?
She did, because she said she was gonna be our point, and
Yeah,
Emily was gonna be our point as well, so
yeah,
between the two of them, I would trust her more than.
yeah, do you want me to go ask her, or do we, I mean. Is it important enough to get?
It's like it.
Okay, let me go get her, or just, do you want me to just ask her and come back with the answer? Do you want me to-
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Stacy.
Where is that red line? It's all the way down. Just, go outside, you went too far. Oh, Watch her. This girl was very impressive too. Just- Right. Right.
Between these two, yes.
Yeah, Ireland Stapleton presents at
What they do?
conference and stuff.
They all-
They all.
So both of them, presenters, yes, I've seen them both there.
Right. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I found my way back. The answer is yes. Allison is our point of contact. She's in Singapore right now, so the woman who's here, Ashley, is the point of contact for today. And will likely be one for policy related review issues, because it's those paralegals that she'll manage if we're gonna do a policy review. But the overall head of the person who will be our main point of contact is Allison, who sits in. They will tag team it to the extent there's an employment related issue that we need to address with Ashley. Any other questions? Any other comments? Does somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that the word is hire. or engage,
Retain.
Retain. Collins, Goldwyn and Palmer.
Do I have a second for that motion?
Yes.
Colin, the firm that
Yes.
Allison is with, that
I'll
Ashley's here presenting for.
Yes.
I would second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the table to retain the firm Collins Cole. Do we have any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm just going to say, I'm not gonna vote for that firm, because I think the other firm is more fit for us. Not that I don't think that's a good firm, but I just think the other firm would be a better fit for us.
Gotcha. Any further discussion, Ryan?
The firm in the back, she said she does not handle personnel issues.
Correct.
Is that
If there's
correct?
someone else- Yes, that's correct. If there's somebody else in her firm, she says does, she does not handle employment related issues, which is why I'm focused on it, because I really do think that.
Yeah, and the one in the front does, correct?
Correct.
Well, I think. Is there a way to at least source her for that? To move forward, and then if we don't like that representation, then we don't have to expand it into full representation? Or is that just wasting our time?
I think, I think that it's better to have one firm handling our matters, only because you then start having to pay people to come up to speed on things. And I don't
Sure.
think that is a very wise use of funds. I think that if you have everything in one house, so to speak, it's easier to get to the kitchen than if you're in, the house down the street and you're trying to go back and forth. So, and I think it gets more expensive that way. Again, I think that Emily's presentation was fantastic too, and I know that Chief Capo has spoken very highly of her. I think that the things that we have coming up, particularly in the next year, are particularly suited to this other firm. Which is why I asked the questions I did at the SDA, and then asked the questions of Ashley that I did in my interview of her. I think we could undertake that policy review and see how they pan out and deal with them on employment related issues. And if we think that that is not working for us, or is too expensive or something like that, we could revisit the issue. I mean, you can hire and fire lawyers all the time like that. It doesn't, and it's not a costly endeavor in the sense that they already know what the legislation is. They're gonna have to come, a new firm would have to come up to speed on an employment related issue. But if we've already done the policy review, then we don't have the expense associated with coming up to speed on that. And if her paralegals are less expensive, then the policy review, which is a heavy lift, is gonna be less expensive with the firm that Ashley's with than it is gonna be with the firm that Emily's with. So that's my thinking.
The one that doesn't handle the personnel issues, she said she had another person in our firm that handles those. How closely related are they?
Well,
Same
just another partner firm in her firm, she said.
Okay, so it'd be the same billing and everything?
Yeah, that person's gonna bill and have to come up to speed on that stuff, just like anybody else's. So it's,
Okay.
it's, but I don't know anything about that person's expertise, and I know now quite a bit about this firm's, the Collins firm expertise, which I personally am comfortable with my own experience.
Well, I think you have a motion and a second. I don't know if that's something we want to vote on or discuss further, but
Yeah, let's vote. All in favor of, okay, I'm gonna restate the motion. Give me a minute. All in favor of retaining Collins, Cole, Wynn, and Ulmer as our general counsel for the time being, say aye.
Alright,
Aye.
aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay,
Motion carries, one opposed.
Scott, I'm glad you break up that group think. I don't wanna.
It's fun. I get to say more.
my own opinion.
No, that's good. That's good. I like it. I'm being true when I say that. That's.
Yeah. All right, I am going to now make an announcement that our next regularly scheduled board meeting is going to be on June 30th at 4:30 p.m. And now I am going to take this board meeting into executive session. I move that we go into, and I need 2/3 vote in order to do that, so I'm going to make this
Do
motion.
we need to tell our legal counsel, or that we picked one of them?
What?
Just leave them in the back.
You're 100% right. I even had my glasses on. Can you go get them, please? Superintendent?
I like it, Scott.
One thing I love about Scott is that when I skip stuff in the agenda, he like totally holds my feet to the fire, and I think I so appreciate that value. Thank you.
Well, I just didn't want him sitting back there.
Well, you're 100% right. I mean, I jump right off the.
Fighter eight.
Yeah.
Lily.
We will return, I think, after executive session. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we will return to do business, the business of the department. No, he does. Keep it better. So, I would like to thank both of you very, very much for coming in and making presentations to us and for taking the time to come all the way up here to Estes Park and to, give us information about your stellar firms. They're both very stellar. We have decided as a board to hire Collins Cole, Wynn and Ulmer. I'm very sorry to tell you that. But I would like you to stay if you don't mind. And of course, you're free to go now, but I just thank you so much for your time. You made a very good presentation and a lot of people were very complimentary of it and appreciated it. And we even opened it to the public and asked their point of view. So I just want you to know that people really did appreciate your presentation and did have a lot of very positive things to say about your firm. And of course, that's not to say that we won't end up working with you at some point in the future.
Collins Cole is a strong firm as well, so, you couldn't go wrong, and I appreciate the opportunity to come up.
Thank you so much. You're
Thank you. I'll ship out.
All right.
Have a safe trip.
Yes, thank you. Have a good one.
Drive carefully.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, I'm going to make a motion that we go into executive session. I have two motions to make in that regard. The first one is that I move that we go into an executive session pursuant to section 24-6-402, paren 4, paren B of the Colorado Revised Code, CRS, for the purpose of receiving legal advice concerning complaints alleging discrimination and harassment. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Second motion, I move that we go into an executive session pursuant to section 24-6-402, 4B CRS, that's B as in boy, for the purpose of receiving legal advice relating to outsourcing the district's human resources needs and the risks and benefits related to such action. Do I have a second of that motion, please?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All
Aye.
opposed, say nay. Motion carried. So we are gonna go into the boardroom in the back and we are gonna have our executive session there. We will come, so that none of you have to move, we will return. I think well, I'll put it this way, if we have any further action to take as a board, we have to do that in public, and so we will return to take said action if there is any that we decide we need to do after this meeting, after this private session, executive session. So we will see if you all want to stay. You of course are welcome to stay.